Hey everyone, welcome back. Did you know some quarters from 1999 could be worth thousands? Today, we're looking at 5 special coins from that year with rare features and perfect conditions that make them valuable at real auctions. These aren't your everyday quarters, they have unique qualities collectors love. If you want to find hidden treasure in your change, keep watching. Let's see what makes these coins so special. First up, today we are talking about the 1999 Pennsylvania Quarter. Some people say this coin is worth $10,200. Let's see what's true, what makes it special, and what it's really worth in most real-life uses. The 1999 Pennsylvania Quarter was made by the Philadelphia Mint. Like all state quarters, it has George Washington on the front. On the back it shows a picture of Pennsylvania. You can see the outline of the state, a statue representing the Commonwealth, and the words virtue, liberty, independence. This design was part of the 50-state quarters program, which started in 1999. These coins are made of copper and nickel and weigh about 5.67 grams. In 1999 the Philadelphia Mint made over 349 million of these quarters. That is a very large number. Because so many were made, most of these coins are not rare at all. If you find one in your change or in a coin jar, it is probably worth just 25 cents. Even if it looks a little nicer than usual, it will usually only be worth face value, or maybe a few dollars if it's in really good shape. So, what's the deal with the $10,200 price? That number comes from one very special coin that sold at a real auction. It was graded MS67 by PCGS, meaning nearly perfect condition. It was struck on an experimental planchet, a test blank metal piece different in composition from regular ones. Because of that rare planchet and the top grade, this one coin sold for $10,200 at a heritage auctions event in October 2006. Coins like that are incredibly rare. The chance of bumping into one in your pocket or hidden in a small collection is very small. Unless your quarter is almost perfect and made on a special planchet, it won't reach that kind of price. Most regular 1999 quarters, even ones that are uncirculated and shiny, are worth a small amount, maybe $1 to $5. If your coin looks brand new with no scratches or marks, you might think about getting it professionally graded. But even most coins graded MS65 or MS66 do not bring high value. Only coins that reach MS67 or higher, especially those on rare or experimental blanks, start to get real collector dollars. There are other auctions showing what similar coins sell for. One example, a 1999 quarter graded MS67 with a normal blank, not experimental, sold for $4,715 in May 2008. Another example, a coin on experimental planchet but with grade MS64 sold for $2,640 in January 2020. Those show how condition and planchet both matter a lot. To know what your coin might be worth, check the surface, any marks, wear, or stains. Check the shine. Check the edges. See if the coin is certified by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Also see if the blank, metal disc, is unusual in color, weight, or look. That could mean an experimental planchet. Summary: one special 1999 Pennsylvania quarter really did sell for $10,200, but that was because it was nearly perfect and struck on a rare experimental planchet. Most 1999 quarters are common and worth just their face value or a little more if in great shape. Unless yours has both high grade and rare blank, it won't match that $10,200 example. Next is the 1999 Delaware Quarter. Some people say this coin is worth $4,800. Let's see what's true, what makes it special, and what it's really worth in most real-life uses. The 1999 Delaware Quarter was made by the Philadelphia Mint. On the front it has George Washington. On the back it has the Delaware design from the 50-state quarters program. It shows Caesar Rodney on his horse riding. It also has the date, the mint mark P, and the words the first state. The coin is made of copper and nickel, clad type, and weighs about 5.67 grams like many other state quarters. In 1999, the U.S. Mint made 373.4 million of these 1999 Delaware quarters. Because so many were made, most are very common. If you carry one in your pocket or find one in a jar, it is probably only worth 25 cents. Even if it looks shiny or almost new, many are still just worth face value or maybe a few dollars. So, where does the $4,800 price come from? That comes from one particular coin that sold at a real auction. This coin was graded MS66 by PCGS, which means it was in very high uncirculated condition. It was struck on an experimental planchet, a blank piece of metal that is different from the usual blanks used for regular state quarters. Because of that unusual blank plus very good condition, this special Delaware quarter sold for $4,888 at a heritage auction sale in May 2008 in Long Beach, California. Coins like that are rare. The chance of finding one like that in your pocket or an old collection is extremely low. Unless your quarter is almost perfect, sharp edges, no nicks, good shine, and on a rare blank, it will not fetch that kind of money. Most 1999p Delaware quarters, even those in uncirculated condition, sell for much less. If your coin looks new or close to new, maybe it could be worth a few dollars if graded. But most are worth 25 cents, face value, or slightly more if in very good mint state, like MS60 MS65. Some collectors will pay more if coin is certified by PCGS or NGC and it looks excellent. If your coin is graded MS66 but not on an experimental planchet, it still might bring more than normal but not thousands. Condition matters a lot. The fewer marks, the sharper the detail and the more perfect it surfaces, the more it is worth. Also, being certified by a trusted grading service helps make bids higher at auction. To tell if your coin might be special, check its surface for scratches, spots or nicks. Look at the shine or luster. See if the edges are sharp or worn. Check the mint mark P and see whether the blank looks ordinary or unusual, color, tone, texture. If possible, get it graded by PCGS or NGC. In summary, yes, one 1999p Delaware quarter sold for about $4,888 because it was very high grade, MS66, and struck on an experimental planchet. Most 1999p Delaware quarters are common and worth just face value or a bit more if in good shape. Unless your coin has both the rare blank and excellent condition, it will not likely match that $4,800 example. Now let's look at the 1999p Connecticut Quarter. Some people say this coin is worth $4,362. Let's see what's true, what makes it special, and what it's really worth in most real-life uses. The 1999p Connecticut Quarter was made at the Philadelphia Mint. On the front it has George Washington. On the back it shows the Connecticut design from the 50-state quarters program, the charter oak tree, the date 1999, and the word Connecticut. The quarter is clad, copper plus nickel, weighs about 5.67 grams. In 1999, the U.S. Mint produced 688,744,000 of these Connecticut quarters at Philadelphia. Because so many exist, most of them are very common. If you find one among your change or in a drawer, and it's worn or used, it's likely worth just its face value, 25 cents. Even if it looks clean and nice, without special features, it usually isn't worth a huge amount. So, where does the $4,362 number come from? That price comes from a rare coin, a 1999p Connecticut Quarter graded MS68 by PCGS, sold at an auction in August 2006 for $4,362. That is an auction record for a regular strike Connecticut Quarter in that very high grade. Coins like that are extremely rare. MS68 is very high, almost perfect condition, very sharp detail, almost no marks. To fetch that price, a coin has to be very well preserved. It must be certified by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Most 1999p Connecticut quarters do not reach that kind of condition. If the coin is uncirculated but lower grade, say MS60, MS65, the value is usually much less, maybe a few dollars to tens of dollars depending on condition. If the coin has wear, marks, dull surfaces, or is circulated, its value often stays around face value or perhaps a little more. Sometimes coins with special errors or on unusual blanks, experimental planchets, or with missing layers, missing clad may be worth more, but those are separate from this MS68 regular strike case. The $4,362 coin is not an error coin or experimental blank, it's a regular strike, just an extremely high grade. To find out what your coin might be worth, first check its condition. Are the edges sharp or worn? Is the surface shiny, with no obvious scratches, spots, discoloration? Next, see if it is graded by PCGS or NGC. Grading makes a big difference in value. Also look at auction records, what similar coins have sold for in recent years. That gives a more realistic idea of what buyers will pay. Summary, Yes, a 1999p Connecticut Quarter really did sell for $4,362, but that was for one very special coin, graded MS68, in excellent condition. Most Connecticut Quarters from 1999 are common and worth face value, or a little more if in good uncirculated condition. Unless your coin has near-perfect condition and certification, it probably won't match that high price. Now let's talk about the 1999p New Jersey Quarter. Some people say this coin is worth $2,354. Let's see what's true, what makes it special, and what it's really worth in normal real-life uses. The 1999p New Jersey Quarter was made by the Philadelphia Mint. On the front it has George Washington. On the back it shows Washington crossing the Delaware River. The words Crossroads of the Revolution are there too. It is part of the 50-state quarters program. The coin is made of the usual copper and nickel mix, clad, and weighs about 5.67 grams. In 1999 the Philadelphia Mint struck 363,200,000 of these New Jersey quarters. Because that is such a high number, most of them are common. If you find one in change, or in a coin jar, and it has been used, it is probably only worth 25 cents. Even ones that look quite good, unless they are in great condition, usually won't be worth a lot more. So, how did the number $2,354 come up? That comes from one rare example of a 1999p New Jersey Quarter that sold at auction. This coin was graded MS68 by PCGS, which means it's almost perfect, very sharp details, almost no marks, great luster. That specific MS68 coin was sold for $2,354 in an eBay best offer auction in January 2023. Coins like that are very rare. The chance of having one in your collection or among your change is very small. To sell for that much, the coin must be certified, checked by a grading service, have near-perfect surfaces, sharp rims and details, and almost no damage or wear. Most New Jersey quarters from 1999 will not reach anywhere near that price. Even uncirculated ones that are nice will usually sell for much less. For example, MS66, which is very good but not as perfect, examples of this coin often sell for maybe tens of dollars, not thousands. The market for MS67 or MS68 in ordinary blanks is small, so prices are lower unless the coin is exceptional. To see if your coin might be special, check its grade, how clean and sharp it is, whether it is certified, and whether the surfaces are as perfect as possible. Look also for any unusual features like a test or experimental planchet, blank, or very rare error marks. Most of these state quarters are ordinary blanks, and only when something is different do they jump in value. Summary: yes, there is a 1999p New Jersey Quarter that sold for $2,354, but that was for a coin graded MS68 and in nearly perfect condition. Most New Jersey quarters from 1999 are common, worth face value or a little more if well preserved. Unless your coin has that high grade and certification, you likely won't see a price like $2,354. Finally, we have the 1999p Georgia Quarter. Some people say this coin is worth $4,200. Let's see what's true, what makes it special, and what it's really worth in most real-life uses. The 1999p Georgia Quarter was made by the Philadelphia Mint. On the front it has George Washington. On the back it shows a peach, oak leaves, and the words wisdom, justice, moderation. This design was part of the 50-state quarters program, which started in 1999. These coins are made of copper and nickel and weigh about 5.67 grams. In 1999, the Philadelphia Mint made over 451 million of these Georgia quarters. That is a very large number. Because so many were made, most of these coins are not rare at all. If you find one in your change or in a coin jar, it is probably worth just 25 cents. Even if it looks a little nicer than usual, it will still usually only be worth face value, or maybe a few dollars if it's in really good shape. So, what's the deal with the $4,200 price? That number comes from one very special coin that sold at a real auction. This was not just any 1999p Georgia Quarter. It was graded MS65 by a top grading company, which means it was in nearly perfect condition. Also, it had a double strike error, a mistake during the minting process that made the coin very rare. Because of the error and the high grade, this single coin sold for $4,200 at a heritage auction in 2022. Coins like that are incredibly rare. The chance of finding one in your pocket or even in an old collection is very small. Unless your quarter is almost perfect and has a minting error, it will not sell for that kind of money. Most regular 1999p Georgia quarters, even those that are uncirculated and shiny, are worth a small amount, maybe $1 to $5. If your coin looks brand new and has no scratches or marks, it might be worth sending to a coin grading service. But keep in mind, even most coins graded MS65 or MS66 won't bring more than a few dollars. Only coins that reach MS67 or higher start to gain real value, and even then, only if they are perfect and certified. Some 1999p Georgia quarters graded MS67 without an error have sold for a few $100s in the past, but prices can change based on collector demand. Other coins from the same year and state, like the 1999D Georgia quarter from the Denver Mint, have also sold for decent prices in top condition, but again, not anywhere near $4,200. To know what your coin is worth, check its condition first. Look at the surface. Are there scratches, stains, or wear? If yes, it's likely worth just 25 cents. If it looks perfect, you might want to have it checked by PCGS or NGC. Also, see if there is anything unusual about the metal. A rare planchet can make a big difference. So, while it's true that one 1999p Georgia quarter sold for $4,200, that was a rare case. It was not a normal coin. It had a perfect grade and a minting error. Most are just fun collectibles worth a small amount, unless you get very lucky.